Hey there, food explorers! Welcome to our deep dive into the world of ketchup. That's right, ketchup. That ubiquitous red stuff that graces tables from diners to five-star restaurants. You might think you know ketchup, but trust me, there's more to this tangy condiment than meets the eye. We're talking centuries of history, a global journey of flavors, and a few surprises along the way. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a culinary adventure. From its surprising origins to the modern production process, we're covering it all, one delicious detail at a time. Get ready to see ketchup in a whole new light. Now, when you think of ketchup, you probably picture a tomato-based concoction. But hold on to your burger and fries, folks, because ketchup's story starts a long, long way from a tomato patch. We're talking ancient China, folks. Way back when, the Chinese were whipping up a fermented fish sauce called ketchup. This wasn't your average dipping sauce, though. This was potent stuff, with a flavor profile that could knock your socks off. Think pungent, salty, and fishy all rolled into one. Not exactly the ketchup we know and love today, right? But this fishy forerunner was the granddaddy of all ketchups, the original flavor inspiration that would take the world by storm. So, how did we get from fermented fish sauce to the tomatoey goodness we know today? Well, that's a journey that involves centuries, continents, and a whole lot of culinary creativity. Stay tuned! Fast forward a few centuries, and our fishy friend Ketchup hitches a ride with sailors across the South China Sea. It's the age of exploration, and this potent sauce is about to embark on a journey of its own. British and Dutch traders, always on the lookout for exotic flavors, encountered this pungent sauce in Southeast Asia. They were intrigued, to say the least. But something about the original fish sauce didn't quite sit right with their palates. So they did what any resourceful culinary explorer would do. They tinkered. They swapped out the fish for local ingredients like mushrooms and walnuts, creating their own versions of this fermented sauce. Word of this exotic condiment spread like wildfire through the trading routes, reaching the shores of Europe. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of ketchup's transformation. By the 18th century, ketchup had found a home in England. It was the it condiment, featured in cookbooks and gracing the tables of the well-to-do. But this wasn't your mass-produced supermarket ketchup. Oh no, this was homemade, with every household boasting their own secret recipe. Mushrooms were a popular base, but you'd also find ingredients like anchovies, oysters, even beer, all adding to the complexity of this savory sauce. It was a far cry from the sweet, tomatoey condiment we know today. Imagine a time when ketchup was considered an exotic delicacy, a testament to culinary ingenuity. It was a badge of honor for home cooks to have their own signature ketchup recipe, passed down through generations like a prized family heirloom. But the story doesn't end there. Ketchup's journey was far from over. In fact, the most dramatic transformation was yet to come. Let's take a step back in time and delve into the heart of those early ketchup recipes. Remember that pungent fish sauce, the ancestor of modern-day ketchup? Well, fermented fish was a staple in those early concoctions. Now, before you wrinkle your nose, remember that fermentation was a way of life back then. It was a natural way to preserve food, enhance flavors, and add a certain, shall we say, je ne sais quoi to dishes. Anchovies, sprats, even shellfish were fermented with salt, creating a potent, umami-rich base for the sauce. It wasn't for the faint of heart, that's for sure. But this Fishy Foundation provided the blueprint for ketchup's signature tangy, savory flavor profile. It was a flavor that evolved over time, incorporating local ingredients and cultural preferences as it journeyed across the globe. As ketchup made its way westward, the fish took a back seat and a new star ingredient emerged: the mighty mushroom. Yes, you heard that right, mushrooms. They were plentiful, readily available, and lent themselves beautifully to the fermentation process. Now, we're not talking about your delicate button mushrooms here. Think earthy, robust varieties like porcini, morels, and even truffles, all contributing to the deep, savory notes of early ketchup. These mushrooms were typically cooked down with salt and spices, then left to ferment, developing a rich umami flavor that was both savory and slightly tangy. It was a far cry from the sweet ketchup we know today, but it was a flavor that captivated palates across Europe. And the best part? Mushrooms brought a meaty depth to the sauce, making it a perfect pairing for roasted meats, hearty stews, and even simple bread and cheese. Now you might think mushrooms are an unexpected addition to ketchup. But hold on to your hats, because we're about to get even more adventurous. Enter the humble walnut. Yes, walnuts. These weren't just for snacking or baking in those days. They were a valued ingredient in their own right, prized for their rich, earthy flavor and ability to add texture and complexity to dishes. Walnuts were often roasted to enhance their natural oils, then ground into a paste and added to the ketchup mixture. They brought a certain richness and depth of flavor, complementing the earthy notes of the mushrooms and other ingredients. This was ketchup on another level, folks. A complex tapestry of flavors, with each ingredient playing a crucial role in creating a condiment that was both savory and satisfying. So we've established that early ketchup was a far cry from the tomatoey goodness we know and love. It was a wild, fermented concoction of fish sauce, spices, and whatever else tickled the culinary fancy of our adventurous ancestors. But hold on to your hats, folks, because the 19th century brought a game-changer: the tomato. You see, tomatoes, native to South America, were initially met with suspicion in Europe. Some folks even thought they were poisonous. But eventually, their vibrant color and unique flavor won people over, and they started popping up in all sorts of dishes. Now imagine this: you're a ketchup maker in the early 1800s. You've got this tangy, savory sauce, but it's missing something, a certain je ne sais quoi. Enter the tomato, ripe and ready to revolutionize the condiment world. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The tomato, once feared and misunderstood, finds its perfect culinary partner in the evolving world of ketchup. It's a match made in flavor heaven, and it's about to change the way we think about condiments forever. The first documented tomato ketchup recipe appeared in 1801, penned by a Philadelphia farmer named James Mees. This wasn't just a sprinkle of tomato in the mix. Mees went all in, making tomatoes the star of his ketchup show. Word spread faster than you can say "pass the ketchup," and soon, cookbooks were bursting with variations on tomato ketchup recipes. Some folks liked it sweet, others liked it spicy. But one thing was clear: the tomato had earned its place at the condiment table. This tomato takeover wasn't just about flavor, though. Tomatoes were easier to come by than those exotic Asian ingredients, and they grew like, well, weeds in many parts of the world. This accessibility made tomato ketchup a hit with the masses, not just a fancy condiment for the upper crust. It was a culinary revolution, folks, and like all good revolutions, it was fueled by ingenuity, accessibility, and a dash of deliciousness. The rise of tomato ketchup coincided with another important development: the dawn of mass production. See, before the mid-1800s, ketchup was a strictly homemade affair. Families would gather round, chopping tomatoes and stirring bubbling pots of spices, their kitchens filled with the tangy aroma of ketchup in the making. But as the demand for tomato ketchup soared, entrepreneurs saw an opportunity. Why not bottle this liquid gold and share it with the world? And thus, the era of bottled ketchup was born. The first commercially produced ketchup hit the market in the mid-1800s, and it wasn't long before brands like Heinz and Hunt's were household names. These companies took the guesswork out of ketchup making, ensuring a consistent product that could be enjoyed by all, no matter their culinary skills. The transition from homemade to mass-produced wasn't always smooth sailing, though. We'll delve into the challenges and triumphs of ketchup's journey to supermarket shelves in the next chapter. Alright folks, we've journeyed through the ketchup's storied past, but now, let's slap on our hairnets and step into the present. The bustling world of modern ketchup production. It all starts with those ruby red gems tomatoes. Not just any tomato will do, mind you. These are special varieties, bred for their flavor and that perfect ketchup consistency. Once harvested, these tomatoes embark on a carefully orchestrated journey to processing plants, often located smack dab in the heart of tomato country. We're talking massive operations churning out gallons upon gallons of that tangy goodness. Think of it as a well-oiled machine, or maybe a well-pulped machine is more fitting. Either way, we're about to break down this modern marvel of food manufacturing step by delicious step. Now picture this: a sea of tomatoes tumbling into massive washing machines getting prepped for their transformation. They're chopped, cooked, and strained, their juices flowing like lava in a culinary volcano. This is where the magic truly happens. The tomato juice meets its destiny in giant kettles, simmering away with a symphony of spices. Vinegar adds that signature tang, sugar steps in for sweetness and salt. Well, salt just makes everything better. Don't even get me started on the spice blend. Every ketchup maker guards their recipe like a prized possession, a closely guarded secret passed down through generations. It's a delicate dance of onion powder, garlic powder, allspice. A flavor profile honed over decades. And here's the thing about cooking ketchup. It's all about precision. Temperature timing, even the stirring technique can make or break the final product. It's culinary science at its finest, folks. Once that ketchup reaches peak flavor and consistency, it's time for its grand finale, the bottling process. This is where our tangy hero gets all gussied up for the supermarket shelves. Piping hot ketchup, fresh off the production line, gets poured into those iconic glass or plastic bottles. Then they're sealed tight, ensuring freshness and preventing any unwanted spills in your grocery bag. Labels are slapped on, showcasing the brand we've all come to know and love. And just like that, our ketchup is ready for its starring role on dinner plates across the globe. From humble tomato to bottled condiment, we've witnessed the modern marvel of ketchup production. But our journey isn't over just yet. Stick around because next up we're diving into the fascinating world of ketchup trivia. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to enter the fascinating world of ketchup trivia. Prepare to have your mind blown by the sheer volume of this beloved condiment consumed around the globe. Did you know that Americans alone go through a staggering 10 billion ounces of ketchup each year? That's enough to fill over 90 Olympic-sized swimming pools. And that's just the United States, folks. Globally, the numbers are even more mind-boggling. But let's break it down even further. The average American consumes about 1.5 gallons of ketchup per year. That's a lot of dipping, dunking, and slathering. And while we're on the subject of consumption, you might be surprised to learn that ketchup isn't just a condiment, it's a cultural phenomenon. It's the go-to sauce for everything from fries and burgers to eggs, and even spaghetti in some parts of the world. Now I know what you're thinking, Alton, surely there's more to ketchup than just slathering it on our food. And you, my friend, would be right. Ketchup's versatility extends far beyond the dinner plate. For instance, did you know that this humble condiment can be used to clean tarnished copper and brass? That's right, the acetic acid in ketchup helps dissolve tarnish, leaving your metal shining like new. But wait, there's more. Ketchup can also be used as a makeshift hair dye remover. Got a bad dye job? Just slather on some ketchup, let it sit for a while and rinse. The acidity helps strip away the unwanted color. And for all you gardeners out there, ketchup can even give your plants a boost. The tomatoes in ketchup are a natural source of nutrients, so adding a bit to your watering can help your plants thrive. Now let's delve into some truly bizarre and fascinating ketchup facts. Prepare yourselves because things are about to get weird. Did you know that in 2013 a bottle of ketchup that had been to space aboard the International Space Station sold for over $1,000 at an auction? Talk about out-of-this-world condiment. And speaking of space, there's a town in Ontario, Canada called Leamington, which proudly proclaims itself as the tomato capital of Canada. They even have a giant tomato statue named Stompin' Tom that stands guard over the town. But perhaps the most peculiar ketchup fact of all is this. In the early 20th century, ketchup was sold as a health tonic. That's right, people believed that this tomato-based concoction had medicinal properties. While we wouldn't recommend swapping your vitamins for ketchup, it's a fascinating glimpse into the ever-evolving perception of food. From its humble beginnings as a fermented fish sauce to its current status as a global condiment, ketchup has certainly had a fascinating journey. So next time you reach for that bottle of red gold, take a moment to appreciate the rich history and quirky trivia behind this beloved sauce. Well folks, there you have it. The tangy tale of ketchup, from its ancient origins to its modern-day ubiquity. We've explored its evolution, its production, and even uncovered some truly bizarre trivia along the way. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the history and making of ketchup. We hope you've learned a thing or two, and maybe even developed a newfound appreciation for this versatile condiment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more fascinating food stories. Until next time, happy eating, happy.